Hey everybody, this is Jim at SP500chart.com. It's about 4:20 on Tuesday afternoon, May 21st, 2013, and we're going to take a look at the S&P after I tell you that the website and the video are for educational purposes only, and nothing stated at the site or in the video is intended to be used as investment advice. I can draw lines on charts, but you have to draw your own conclusions from your own research, and you need to be making investment decisions that are suitable for your personal financial situation. I am not a licensed financial professional. I'm just a guy who draws lines on charts. Okay, we're starting out here with the 30-minute chart, and guys, with the day like today, I mean, nothing really momentous happened. We had a little peak pop over this red line here yesterday, had a little momentary excursion over that line again today. And again, just to remind you what this red line is, it really goes back about 6 months. We go back all the way to November, where this was for a long time serving as support for about 2.5 months with an occasional dip underneath it. And when it finally broke down more solidly underneath this line, this red line has tended to serve as resistance. And there you go. That's what we've got here. We had it provided pretty strong resistance back in the second week of April, and now we're back to this line again, and it's looking like it's wanting to work resistance again. Now, what has also happened is we have this line of support, and we are now much, much closer to a significant line of what I would call intermediate term resistance than we are intermediate term support. And when I'm talking about intermediate term, that would be measured in months or a good number of weeks. Short term could be anything, depending on who you're talking to, anything that you might see on a 5-minute chart. But to me, short term is when you're looking at a chart and you're examining a good number of days of trading. So this green channel between this resistance line and this support line, I would consider that actually fairly short term. That's just my personal outlook, though. So, but you can see that here's that red line, a couple of attempts to get over it. Looks like maybe it wants to try, but it's not quite able to do so. Now, one thing I've done a little differently in this chart is I have adjusted this little gray line that we'd been using to show us some bottoms. Originally, that gray line started back at the low of the second. And you can see if we put it there and then draw it across this next touch, we have 3 occasions where the market has fallen beneath this line, and on 2 of those, it just jumped right back over the top of it. With that in mind, I am now saying that maybe these 2 points of contact are more important to the market and what's going on now than what happened back on the second. And a lot of times when you have a gap up and then you start to run, a lot of times the low that was in place before that gap up isn't always a reliable data point. So I am moving this line very slightly to right here. And it really doesn't make that much difference, because if this continues to serve as resistance and this continues to serve as support, that can only happen for 2 more days, because these 2 lines will intersect by the end of the day or by very early morning of the 24th or the end of the day on the 23rd. So basically, in the country vernacular, if you will, it's about time to poop or get off the pot. We still have this lower support line in the green channel that I am looking at as being an important level of support. It's not as important as this yellow line right here, but it is still important. This line right, this gray line right here, it could go. It could go tomorrow. Then we would look for a touch at this green line, and if it goes, then we look to the blue line, and if it goes, we look to the yellow line. All of this to say, currently, we are much closer to resistance, as I see it, than we are to support. So that would seem to tell me that this market's got a little bit of more downward range underneath it than it has bullish range up above it. So I would say watch it. Do we see any big major pattern developing here? No, still we got nothing. We are just looking at channels and nothing more, because you don't get a head and shoulders or any type of topping pattern until you've had a number of changes of direction. And right now we just haven't had much change of direction lately that shows us that we are at intermediate tops or intermediate bottoms. So again, that means we're just kind of up here in uncharted territory, so to speak, and eventually we will see something develop on the chart that is a tradable pattern. Right now, sadly, it's just not there. But as we look at where we close today, we can use the simple rule that we did, I think it was either over the weekend or in one of the videos last week. Wherever you see a line right now, if it is above where the S&P is trading, it is a resistance line. If it is below where the S&P is trading, it is a support line. It's really, at this point, just that simple. All we've got is trend lines. We don't have a pattern. Again, a pattern is when you have a series of broken and then a series of turns in trend lines will create a pattern. Right now, it's not there. So let's just continue to watch these rising trend lines, also these rising resistance lines. See if we can continue to set new highs, or if we start to sell off and maybe begin to cascade through some of these levels of support. Guys, that's the video for today. Again, I wish I had a pattern for you, but I'm not going to just make something up for the sake of sounding smart. I'd rather be honest and have my hands up in the air a little bit and be a little surprised than I would be trying to sound authoritative while making something up that really doesn't exist. Again, this market has been totally punishing bears for a long time. So eventually there's going to be a turn, and there will be some satisfaction with a market downturn. But until we get either the pattern or the series of broken, cascading breaks of these support lines, guys, all we can do is to watch it the way we're watching it. And all I can do is thank you for watching this video and for your support. If you are not a member at sp500chart.com, you are probably seeing this video significantly later than May 21st. If you would have liked to have seen this video on the 21st, and you're looking at it maybe on the 26th or 27th, you can do that, and it's pretty cheap. Come check it out, sp500chart.com. Take care.